Ladies and gentlemen, JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed, and you're out of here! This is a video about who's not recently, but last year or so, been canceled, and who is maybe or maybe not coming back. Meaning they've been out of the limelight, something happened, and then no one no rush to come back. And can they even come back? Here's some individuals that I'm going to mention that people might be, oh, wow, you're right. What happened with them? First one, Charlie Sheen. Where's Charlie Sheen been? His meltdown was like 2011 when he got drawn off his show, Two and a Half Men, and he made fun of his producer of the show. And then he went on his big rant with the tiger blood and all this other shit, and it was funny. Everybody liked it. Everybody was all into it. You know, we were cracking up. Then he had another show called Anger Management, which was, not as well received, and I guess it got canceled. And he's been kind of not doing anything in the last couple of years. But what happened? One of the reasons why he's probably not showing his face around too much is his HIV diagnosis a couple of years ago, when it was, determined that he had HIV. Why? How did he get it? All his drug use, but then it came out that he might have raped Corey Haim on the set of the movie Lucas in the mid '80s. And if he did, geez, how many other dudes has he been with? Has he, maybe went willingly with, had them go willingly, whatever. But it starts to get ugly when it gets into that. I mean, we all laughed at his tiger blood thing, but there's a difference between laughing because he's so fucking off the rails. It's funny. I'm winning by winning. That was just funny stuff. I mean, we can look at interviews and laugh all we want. Believe me, they were funny. But then when it said he had HIV, that's getting into not funny territory. And then all his accusations of maybe beating up women, prostitutes, rape. It starts to get ugly, and it starts to not become funny anymore at all. And people are like, well, we don't care if he makes another show again, and people are avoiding being near him, being around him. They're not in the Charlie Sheen business anymore, Hollywood, and they don't really seem to be in a rush to get him back. And also, I've heard recently his health is not doing that well. He's lost some teeth, I guess, but all his drug use, I don't know. And since he's not on television shows anymore, he probably doesn't have to look as good as he once did. He's my age, actually about a month older than me. And I heard he's not doing too well. And it is an age where you start to fall apart if you're not taking care of yourself. And obviously he hasn't. I hear he's living with his parents now, I think, which is something that a guy who's getting $1 million an episode on a show, going from that to where he is now, is a big drop off eventually. And I don't think anybody's in a rush to see him come back, and I don't think he's going to come back because I don't think he really can come back. Even if he has cleaned up his act, what kind of shape is he in? And if he's got HIV, how much longer does he have? Now, I'm not saying he can't live a long time with HIV. I mean, obviously, Johnson has, the basketball player, but he seems to be taking care of himself. Charlie Sheen, I don't know. Can he take care of himself? He's my age. I don't see him making 65. I don't see it. I think he's going to be a cautionary tale. Not too far down the road. And I don't think he's coming back because He probably doesn't have to. Not that he doesn't have to. Well, he probably does. He probably did waste all his money. But I don't know. I don't know if he really could. Who knows what kind of shape, like I said, what kind of shape he's in, and if he can even come back. And if he did, who really wants to bring him back? Who really wants to have a vehicle for him? He's kind of at the point where people are like, he's got so much shit that he may have done that he can not explain away, So I don't see him coming back, or maybe being able to come back. Next up, Louis C.K. Louis C.K. is coming back. He has come back. He has been coming back. He a couple of years ago when this happened, in between that time and now, he has, released some material. People filmed him, recorded him in a club and released it, and I think it was funny. And he's also done other club gigs that have been out there, and I think he's still hysterical. And I really don't think he's done anything that bad. And before you all come down on me, let me explain. He asked women if he can masturbate in front of them. Some said no, and when they said no, he apologized and he didn't do it. And some said yes, he did it. I don't know. Is that illegal? No, I don't think there's any, any law against doing that. There's not. It's disgusting. It's fucked up. Yeah, but it's not illegal. So if he did that and these women said yes and he did it, okay, the women can come forward now and say, oh, he did it, but he did it like years ago, before he was the Louis C.K. we all know, the household name. So how much clout did he have? Why did they accept to watch him jerk off? And why are they coming forward a couple years ago and they're trying to ruin him? It's kind of funny how all these women don't have a presence nearly as big as his. Maybe they see him and they go, well, we're going to try to bring him down because he masturbated in front of us back in 2008. Okay, again, I'm not saying he's without, he shouldn't maybe try to explain himself a little better, but he asked them, can I masturbate in front of you? And those who said yes, he did, and those who said no, he didn't. And even he apologized to some of them who said no. I don't think he should have apologized, because he apologized, of course, to try to come back one day, but he should have said, well, fuck, I asked him to, and they said yes. Nothing wrong with that. Other women have asked to jerk off and they said yes, and they did it, and they're not coming forward now. If they don't want me to jerk off in front of them, they should have said no. Sometimes you really have to be an adult and stand up for what you said at the time, for your actions. And their actions is saying, yes, you can jerk off in front of me. And he did. Fucked up as it is fucked up. But I think he could say, hey, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I was fucked up. I thought at the time I liked to masturbate, and we were just getting into things, and I knew they wouldn't have sex with me because look at me. If you look at Louis C.K., it's not, impossible to believe that the woman wouldn't have sex with him. So he said, I asked him if I could masturbate. And shockingly, some women said, I would never ask a woman if I could do that in front of him because that's fucked up. I can't even imagine that. But I guess he could at the time, and he did. And some women said yes, and he did what he did. He is coming back now. He's funny. Not even that he's funny. I don't care how funny he is. But a lot of people feel he just didn't do anything that wrong. So he is coming back, and he's already come back and kind of made a joke about it that a lot of people are laughing at. So he's going to come back. People are going to hate him. They're always going to hate him. There's going to be the haters out there. But if he's out there and he's making funny stuff and he's got his fan base is still there, he's going to come back. I don't have any doubt about that. And he's already on his way coming back. Bill Cosby. No. He's too old. He's like my father's age, about 80. And no, he did too much fucked up shit. And I think he's in jail now anyway, isn't he? Or he's on probation or something. But there's no shows that anybody wants to put him on. He's not gonna. Oh, he's making a comeback. No, he's not. And he's a disgrace. His name is disgrace, and it's a shame because he was a classic comic, like the old school comics from way back, and he was doing stuff since before I was born, and great stuff. And it's kind of a shame now that we don't want to hear about him. We don't want to talk about him. We don't want to be reminded that he was ever around, but he was, and he did stuff for years. But I think there's a bigger story here than that. I think it's how many people didn't say shit when it was happening years ago, and it's a shame because he had done some bad things for 50 years, and he got away with it. And if it never came out and he would have died, people would have just considered him one of the best comics, the most, and the one of the most successful comic actors who ever lived. And now he's a disgrace, and he's not coming back. He's too old, and no one wants him to come back. And he's gonna quietly die eventually, and people are gonna they're gonna say, they're gonna say, they're gonna show his career, but they're gonna say, but all that's tarnished beyond repair because of all the bullshit he's done, and good because he's done. I mean, he drugged. I mean, women. It's extremely bad, very, 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 very bad, and he doesn't deserve to come back to have a second chance, and he deserves to be ridiculed in his career. Deserves to be made up as a farce, and he's made up to be disgusting old man, and yeah, I don't feel sorry for him whatsoever. Next up, Harvey Weinstein. Yes and no. He's in jail right now, so he's not coming back. He's not coming back to be the producer he once was, but I think his brother may still be making movies, so he can always get in with him and maybe do stuff without being credited. He's still got a lot of money. So if he gets out one day, which he's probably going to, he's still got a shitload of money. So is he really that bad off? I mean, I guess he'll probably say, yeah, I'm going to do X amount of years in jail, but is he going to do life in jail? I don't think so. I think he's, sexually abused many women, but I think a lot of women went willingly. And a lot of them are keeping their mouths shut now. And I see in Hollywood, I see a lot of women who were once big deals are not getting movie parts anymore because they probably trace their success back down to Harvey Weinstein. So I don't think he's coming back into where he was, but I think he might be back out there one day. And, we might see him again. Because I don't think he's not dying anytime soon. And, I think I'd like to hear him come out and give names of people who did go willingly and say, hey, I did a lot of ugly shit, but, a lot of it was not that ugly. And how much of the not the ugly shit, is getting mixed up with the ugly shit? I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with him sexually abusing women, but how many did he sexually abuse, and how many are women who went willingly who just maybe didn't like the way their careers went? You notice that they're opening their mouth when their careers are really doing bad. There's a lot of women who are not opening their mouth and their careers are doing good. So I think there's much more to this story than people are letting on, but they're not letting on because it can make them look bad, obviously. So just ignore it and act like it didn't happen and move on. And people are looking at him going, good, let him take the fall. I'm doing 10 times worse than he is. And, I haven't been caught yet, so I'm just going to, keep my mouth shut. And that's what's happening now. I think a lot of people have done worse stuff than him, but they're not going to say anything. They're just going to keep their mouth shut. So I think that's what you have now with Harvey Weinstein. But I think he's going to come back in some form. Not the way he was, But he's going to come back in some form and start to talk and start to have interviews and start to get some kind of exposure again. Okay, here's somebody that a lot of people are really probably asking about, Kevin Spacey. And Kevin Spacey is still relatively young. He's maybe 60, right? 61, something like that. Yeah, he's relatively, good shape. He's a great actor, fantastic actor. But I mean that in these cases is obviously irrelevant. But I don't think he's going to come back because of the big reason I feel he's not going to come back is that he fucked up. Well, not just doing what he did. Back in I think it was 86, when he was 26, he made a move on a 14-year-old boy, Anthony Rapp, who we've all probably seen in films. He was in Adventures in Baby. He's sitting back in like 80, 88 or something like that, He was in Dazed and Confused. I loved him in Dazed and Confused. He was also in, what's the movie with A Beautiful Mind? I think he was great in that. I think he was good. I mean, I like him in a lot of films. I think he's a very talented actor. He was in the play Rent. He was in, I think he was in Star Trek, like the television show or something like that. Deep Space Nine, one of them. I don't know. But, yeah, I do remember him from movies when he was a kid. And he waited until, a long time after it happened, till maybe 2016 or something like that, to come out and say it. Maybe you're talking 30 years after the fact, 1986, and he finally came out and said what happened. They were at a party. I guess he got drunk. I don't know what, and then Kevin Spacey made a pass at him. I guess picked him up, brought him into the bedroom, and maybe was making out with him and groping him. I don't know the whole extent of the story. I guess the kid was passed out and he was sleeping, and Kevin Spacey made a move on him, and he was 14 at the time, and Spacey was 26. That's fucked up. That's wrong. Very wrong. But then again, to play devil's advocate here for a second, if he was 26 and the kid went willingly at 14, 15, would people be fucking saying shit now? I mean, back in the old days, Jimmy Page was 28 and his living girlfriend was 14. Steven Tyler was in his 20s, later 20s, if not 30. And he had a girl who was living with him who was in the teens also, underage, not 17, or older, actually younger. Mick Jagger slept with Ray Dawn Chung when she was 15. She went willingly. We all know a woman, Polanski, drugged and sodomized a girl when she was 13. And he won an Academy Award afterwards. So it's bad, but it's, he could have probably weathered that storm. I know it's fucked up to say, but he could say, which he did afterwards. His mistake was he came out after that and he said, well, it might have happened, but it was a drunken encounter, which doesn't excuse it, obviously. And then he said, but it's the time I'm going to come out and I'm going to say I'm gay. Now, the problem with that was he came out and saying he's gay when he's trying to explain making a pass at a 14-year-old boy, which is pedophilia. So he, in maybe not even realizing it, is comparing pedophilia with homosexuality. Now, a lot of homosexuals don't want that stigma because they're homosexuals, okay? And there's nothing wrong with being homosexual, but there's something very wrong with being a pedophile. So if you somehow compare that and saying, well, I'm a homosexual, so you can't blame me for wanting a 14-year-old boy. This is not good. This is bad. And yes, he compared that, and Hollywood has a good number of homosexuals, I think, and it might also have a good amount of pedophiles, and maybe a lot of them are the same, but they don't want you to compare that, and they don't want somebody else comparing that who's a homosexual saying, "Yeah, I'm gay, but again, you can't expect me to not take a pass at a young boy once in a while." That's more or less what he's saying, which is pretty fucked up. So he compared homosexuality to pedophilia, which in Hollywood's a no-no, and it's like, no. If he would have came out and said, "I'm gay," maybe at another time, that people would have been behind him. They would have called him brave, and they would have hyped up him and his movies and everything like that. But he came out at the same time. He's trying to explain why he made a pass at a 14-year-old boy. Completely fucked up royally. Now he's gone. He's not coming back. I don't care how much he wants to come back. He ain't coming back. Hollywood doesn't want anything to do with him anymore. They want him to go far away. Far away. I personally think it was fucked up what he did, obviously. But I've seen other people do worse than that, and no one even knew about it. No one even mentions it. It's funny how no one mentions Mick Jagger sleeping with Ray Dawn Chong. They don't say shit. It's kind of funny. Roman Polanski wins the Academy Award after he got a girl drunk and on drugs or whatever the hell, and then he was gonna have sex with her vaginally, and she said, "I'm a virgin," so he fucked up the ass. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucking gross. And he ran off like the fucking coward he is. Yeah, I'm not going to be asked to be in any Roman Polanski movies anytime soon. But he ran off to Paris where he could probably date other underage girls where there was more just accepted. Or more, girls have to, lose their virginity sometimes. So it's good they lose it to an old experienced man. Just throwing it out there. How many girls in Paris has he dated that are underage? Well, let's just throw us out there. Let's draw it out there. The guy likes young girls, I guess, And, you feel sorry because his wife was killed by the Manson family, but that sorriness only goes so far. I'm not, So that's basically my list of people who've been canceled who are not coming back. And let me just go over it again. Charlie Sheen, not coming back. Louis C.K. is coming back. He already is in the process of doing it. And I for one, am happy. Bill Cosby, nope, too old. Not coming back. Going to be a sorry note to a great comic and a great acting. What was it? Career that's been ruined by this, and he was doing it for longer than I've been alive, and it's wrong, and it's horrible that it was just shoved under the carpet for so long. But he's not coming back. Harvey Weinstein not coming back in the same way. I think he will come back and give interviews, and will be out there again explaining his side of the story, which people are probably extremely afraid of. Kevin Spacey not coming back. He wants to come back. He wants to come back probably more than anybody else wants to come back. He wants to come back. We see the videos he's making. He really wants to come back. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think Hollywood, like I said, I don't think they want anything to do with him. I think he fucked up royally, and they're like, you fucking compared being a homosexual to pedophilia. We want nothing to do with you anymore. So fuck off. and I think he's going to try to come back for a while. And I don't have good hopes of what's going to happen to him. And do I feel bad for him? Maybe a little bit, yeah. Because I think other people have done far worse than him and have never been caught. And are probably acting in movies right now as we speak. So I'm not saying that's right either. But, you know, just some other little drawing out there a little bit. Who's been canceled? A season, sorry. And Z's, I'm sorry. I call him. His was, he shouldn't have been canceled in the first place. He had a bad date with a girl, and she goes on there, and she just comes back to her apartment, and she blogs about it, and it's a bad date. Lady, what the fuck are you doing? You're trying to get your 15 minutes of fame, which she wasn't even known before that. Now she was known a little bit more because she rolled on the guy, and it's horrible because I don't think he did anything bad. He was just in a bad date, and it's something that should have been blown off. And if I was a big director or producer, I would have hired him right away after that. I don't think he needs to apologize. He did. He shouldn't have. Apologizing means just saying, I know what I did was wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just, making out with her? I mean, and then he went down on her and she blew him and they didn't get to have sex because, that sounds like most of my sexual experiences was me, almost getting to a home run and actually stopping a third and then trying to fucking, sneak into home and being tagged out. That's most of my sexual experiences when I was a kid. Like, come on, and why you stop, But him, like me, we stopped and we said, fuck, and that sucks. And we got tagged going home. That's, if that's not bad enough, then she blogged about him to try to get him canceled. And then he fucking apologized. Fucked up. Another guy who was canceled James Franco. He's been emailing young girls. Okay, what is she, 17? Is that legal or not? I'm not saying it's not sleazy, yeah, but Jared Leto did too. Shy, what's his name? LaBeouf, Shy, the Beef. He's done similar things. So, are these guys, doing anything that fucked up in Hollywood? I don't know. And really, how many of these women that throw themselves at him? I'm not saying, if they're underage, if they're under 17, that's fucking illegal. But if they're 17, that's not illegal. That's sleazy. But if it's not illegal by the law, then leave the guys alone, That's what I say. But how many girls are jumping on James Franco anyway? A lot. He might have a penchant for younger girls, which it seems like Jared Leto does also. It seems so does Leonardo DiCaprio. How many of these guys are just fucking maybe scraping the line of what's legal and what's not? Legally, morally, ethically, you got some other issues there, but being canceled because of that, I think most of them have already come back or already kind of in the midst of doing, but they're not doing. Well, the COVID, who knows where their careers are now anyway. So, but I don't, I'm not saying people shouldn't be canceled. There's pretty obvious ones, obviously. Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, obvious ones. And there's also a lot of ones that are very touchy. But I feel Hollywood's a fucking a dog-eat-dog. A lot of people don't want to be under the bus because they're doing something worse, if not far worse, than these other people are. It's like, let's just throw them under the bus so you could, look what's going on over there. So you're paying attention. What's in this hand? Because I don't give a fuck about what's in this hand. Okay? Well, shit. Look what the fucking Louis C.K. did. Well, what the fuck are you doing? Well, it's irrelevant what I'm doing. We're not talking about me. We're talking about Louis C.K. here. So, you know, Harvey Weinstein, oh wow, he's just the tip of the iceberg. He's probably not even the worst. There's probably been way worse people than him years ago that are considered to be giants of the industry, who bring us probably some of the best films ever made. And they probably have some fucked up past too. Well, most of them are dead now anyway, but they probably did some fucked up shit back then. We'll probably never know the full extent of it. But now it's like, you know, people want answers and they're throwing some people under the bus to the wolves. Let's just throw these people as bait so they don't come after us. But if you really did an investigation and went after everybody who's involved with something in Hollywood, shit, that'd be very, a few actors being able to get work, you know. Yeah, and maybe I should do a video on the actors that would scrape this, who seem like, even if I mention actors I think are good, even I'll probably come up with something later on where their stepdaughter will say, he molested me. I mean, fucking, a lot of shit going on out there. I'm just sitting here in my fucking ugly kitchen spewing my bullshit about it. And on that note, that's all I got to say about that. Anyway, JP Alexander for the Rabid Dogs Unleashed. Until next time, ciao.